Oh my gosh, it is not easy to choose yourself and go on a path of journeying through your subconscious to find your self-belief. And that's what this is about. This is about self-belief, and that it takes work. Unless you're gifted with the ability to harness self-belief in yourself just as is, which in that case, you should be telling people what that feels like, or whatever. You'll follow your own path, but it's very valuable information. And hearing other people talk about finding their self-belief and the work that they had to put into it and the steps that they had to take and kind of what that process has looked like. And from my understanding, it's generally a similar process to getting to a point where you feel like you can trust yourself. And if you've lived your life not trusting yourself and making choices for yourself out of beliefs about yourself and about the world that don't actually align with the things that you want, it can be really hard to unlearn a lot of things. And I'm still in that process, but I feel like I've gotten further. I'm really proud of how far I've gotten in that process, and I look forward to more of that process. And I'm literally in it right now. I would never ever claim that I have all of the answers, but I have to acknowledge that the work that I've put into doing that and consciously making an effort to choose myself, find my self-belief, find a feeling of worthiness of going after my dreams. I forgot how I started that sentence, but yeah, that's I feel I have a little something to say about it. At least my own perspective, it's not like, I can't say that what worked for me is going to work for you. What works for you might not work for me. So it's all I can do is share. And what I've noticed is throughout my journey of trying to figure out how to hone this self-belief, I've found a lot of people who have made videos like this really helpful in not feeling alone in that process, and not feeling alone, because it can feel really isolating and lonely to kind of go into the depths of yourself and reveal what isn't working, which also then might change things in your outside world, which can be really jarring. And change is scary. And I think a lot of the reason that we don't really choose ourselves, if we haven't for most of our lives, is because that change process is honestly pretty uncomfortable. There are ways to work with it, and it's life, it's gonna keep going no matter what. But then that with that perspective, do you want to keep going and then look back and be like, oh, I didn't do this because I was afraid, and then life kept going and I was struggling? Or do you want to take action now? If we're just here, this is kind of like a perspective that's a little like, well, we're just little specks of dust on the freaking planet. But if that's the case, which it is kind of, depending on what you believe, then why not? I actually saw that phrase a lot when I was in Portugal this past month, and it was one of those things that one might call it a sign where it was too noticeable to ignore. And it was just the phrase, why not? It was spray painted on stuff. It was on this like can of soda. It was like a brand. Shout out that brand. If you want to sponsor, you want to sponsor me, just let me know. Just call me up. But yeah, why not? Because, and the reason why the self-belief thing is really important in that why not question is that if you feel like you are not deserving of the things that you want, or you're less than, or yeah, if you don't have that like feeling of, oh yeah, why not? Because we're all here. We're all like playing on the same field, you know? Then it's not like I'm better than people or I'm less than people. It's just like, okay, well, here we are. So I might as well have fun while I'm here. I mean, it's up to you, you know? You can spend your day, those are my cats. You can spend your day like freaking out. You can totally do that. You can do that and no judgment at all to that. I've been there most of my life. Or you can, okay, they're going nuts. You can choose to say, okay, I'm gonna do one thing today that feels good, and like the impact that has on looking back on your day, like in the choices that you've made throughout the day, like when you look back on the day, it is so wild to like know that you had the power to make your day just a little bit better. That is why I have grilled cheese tattooed on my leg by my friend Apollo. I don't know if you can see it, but I got that tattooed on my leg, not just because I loved grilled cheese. I actually don't really eat grilled cheese anymore, but when I did, the reason I got the tattoo is because I wanted it as a reminder that that there are things in life that you can, do, choices you can make that can make yourself feel better. Now, though, grilled cheese doesn't make me feel better. It actually like kind of hurts my stomach. But at a time in my life where I was really seeking comfort and like honestly turning to other things like alcohol and other types of things to get comfort, having a grilled cheese seemed like the best self-care act I could do at the time. And maybe it was. And I'm really grateful to grilled cheese and for what it did for me in that time in my life. And and I knew that I was doing something that was, I wasn't at the point that I'm at now in terms of like taking care of myself, which is a process. And at that point I couldn't jump from what I was doing to like a completely healthy lifestyle, because that would have just been too much of a jump. But at the time, again, like that was a win for me to not turn to something else and to say, okay, I'm going to get a nice feeling if I make myself a grilled cheese, and then that just created a nice feeling in my day or in my night. It was usually at night. But yeah, anyway. And also part of that conversation is, now I probably wouldn't have a grilled cheese, but what am I trying to say? I get what was popping up in my head was like about shame, and that, yeah, just being I'm not really sure where I'm going with that just yet. Maybe that'll be another video. So I will end it here, And yeah, I hope that this gave some sort of insight or information or was entertaining in some way. And thanks for watching if you did, and I hope you have the best, most beautiful day. Be kind to yourself, and I mean, in turn, you'll be kind to others. And so, yeah, okay, have a great day.